Nice of you to show up, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry about yesterday, Mel. I just had family reasons, and let me make it very clear to those who think I'm going to become a father. No, that's not true. That I don't think I'm ready to become a father. I still have a lot of growing up to do still. So no, it's just that I had family visiting from Sydney, and I had to hard
Yeah.
sell back visit Adelaide.
Oh, no, you've let us down, man. You've let us down. But you're back today. So, and I actually think that you need to just learn how to look after Ollie first. Maybe that's good practice for you. Roll the bumper. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Ridiculous. And what a crazy start we've had, really, to the IPL so far. Some huge scores, close chases, tight matches. Thanks for those of you who are joining us live as well. Yes, we can see you there. Hello to all of you. Amazing start. We have seen all the teams play at this stage, so pretty good, just early indications. Oh, hello, Harish. Yes, happy morning to you too. All of you who are on here, they're all coming on now. We're going to have lots of things coming up for you during this IPL, so do make sure you hit that notification bell, I think it's called, and do subscribe if you're not already. Now, let's get on with these nominations. First up, we have one from Sunil Kendenti talking about who else but Sanju Samson. You've got to feel for this guy. He scores such a great century and yet heartbroken. How ridiculous that sometimes cricket breaks your heart. Come on, Sunil. How long have you been watching cricket for? That's what it's there for. We're all masochists. That's why we watch the game. Deep down, we all love the pain, don't we? It's what keeps us ticking. That was an astonishing innings. That was absolutely ridiculous, helped of course by some marvelous cameos in there as well, but it was one of those ones. I did read that he was so nervous and excited about taking on the captaincy that he was like wanting to toss the coin 3 minutes before time, so and then also apparently wanted to keep it afterwards. I read that on CricBuzz, who Bharat works for, of course. Incredible innings, also just showing the crazy scores. I mean, a few seasons ago, 180, you were always thinking, okay, decent sort of score. At the moment, it feels like teams are having to score in excess of 200 all the time, and it's sometimes not even enough at the moment, or nearly not enough. It was one shot away from from not being enough last night, but it was great. And the other thing I'd say about Samson is that there were people criticising him for perhaps not taking the run on the penultimate ball. How could you criticise him for that? He made the right decision. It just didn't come off. It was maybe a metre away, that ball, from actually winning the game, him pulling it off and being the hero. So I think that was absolutely the right decision.
And as captain, you are always judged by the decisions you make. And it was just his first game as captain in the IPL, but he'll learn. Sometimes these decisions will come off. He might throw the ball to someone that others would not expect, and it'll come off. And he'll look like a great captain. And he's not the first wicketkeeper from India who has refused to single in the death overs of a game and not taken his team over the line. Dhoni did it famously a few years ago in an international game. So these things happen. And Sanju Samson in the IPL is just a treat to watch, right? I mean, he's a treat to watch every time he picks up the bat, but he just seems so much more confident in the IPL. He's got a few games here and there for India, but the confidence maybe will come from like more exposure. But think about it, right, Mel? We've seen like 3-4 months of exceptional cricket, or 3-4 exceptional months for Indian cricket, but Sanju Samson is hardly featured in it. He played a few games in Australia, a couple of games, but but he is he's one IPL captain who had really nothing to do with those 4 months. So a lot riding on him, but it's just another reminder of how special he is as a talent with bat in hand. And as a captain, he'll keep growing. But and I think with regards to the big scores you spoke about, we have to also keep in mind that a lot of these pitches are fresh. Like, not a lot of cricket has been played on them, especially the ones in Mumbai and Chennai. We've had some domestic cricket, but not so much in Mumbai and Chennai. So it'll be interesting to see how these pitches play out as the tournament goes on, because there will be a lot of cricket played this time. It's a very unique format. Teams are not traveling it's not a home and away basis. So a lot of cricket played on the same ground. So maybe the bowlers will come into play, the slow bowlers in particular, as the weeks roll on. But for now, you don't know what target is safe, especially against Rajasthan Royals. Remember the Rahul Tewatia show last time round. He couldn't do it again yesterday. But I think we should. If I were a true cricket fan, I would remember Sanju Samson more for the knock he played than for the single he declined.
Absolutely. Just I noticed a comment there from Rajiv Vikas saying, surprised Huda came ahead of Puran, but boy, that was some good innings. That definitely goes into the good pile. We are good. And also last night, have you noticed that the new sexiest shot in the IPL is actually just the flick off the pads? That goes miles. Like, what is that about? It has become, you can pull and hook and ramp and you can straight lofted drives down the ground. For me, the new sexy shot, little flick off the pad that goes for 58.7 miles. Well, I really like that. Now, next up, Harsha reviewer. I like that. Ridiculous oohs and ahs by fake stadium announcer and fake crowd noises during the match. It's irritating and not necessary. Hey, where have you been? I mean, we've had that since cricket comes back. How would you like? I always think about who the guy is, who the sound supervisor, who's having to pick the noises at various points and like, can they get it right, the right noise in for a catch or for an edge and a drop catch? Or it's a pretty tough job out there. And anyway, let's face it, nothing is ever going to be as annoying as the no ball siren. Let's just remember that. I won't do it.
I thought you were going to sound it off, so I got a little worried there.
Look, they're doing their best. They're doing their best. It's hard without crowds at the IPL. It's not something that we're used to seeing. I know that happened last year as well. But look, they're trying. It would be weird if it was silent.
You know what? I was thinking about it the other day when I was watching the IPL. Man, maybe there should be a test. You know, you should have a test before you get any job. But maybe whoever applies to be that person who is in charge of controlling this fake crowd noises, they should have played at least 100 hours or maybe more than 100 hours of EA Sports cricket games, because that's how it works in video games with cricket, right? Like the crowd noises are based on what you do. And if you have played enough of that, you know exactly when to press what button. And maybe so that's a test that they should put in place, because it's not easy. At times when the ball goes up in the air, what do you think? What do you do then? Because you don't know whether it's actually caught, because they're just, and who knows whether they're getting a live feed, and at times maybe there's a slight delay. It's all very complicated. We've all done commentary as well during this period when you're sitting away on watching it on TV. And for example, when Fox did the Gabba test, a lot of commentators were sitting in Melbourne and Sydney, so you could actually notice that their reactions were at least a few seconds late. Once the keeper had collected the ball is when they would react to the shot. So everybody just getting used to this. I don't even know whether we can call it the new normal, because it is the normal. It's not new anymore. But yeah, it is what it is. But maybe what they could try is maybe have 2 games every week where there are no crowd noises, where you just your bat on ball.
No, I want to see the players blame the fake noises for every time they drop the ball, which they have been doing a lot. Let's put that in the bad category. Now, going down, look, we haven't had a lot of nominations this time around, but Arpan is going in here, that cricket head, not IPL related, but maybe you wanted to talk about this instance at the county where even after scoring 600 odd, McManus had to resort to cheating by falsely removing the bails in an attempt to dismiss the batsman who was following in a follow-on innings. So just a brief mention on that. Well, yeah, it's bad. Well, good on me about that. Not only did he appeal with the ball in his hand after, whipping off the bails, but then James Vince, the captain, said afterwards that they didn't realise until a few overs later. How do you not realise until a few? You either realise at the time or you realise when you come off, unless the wicketkeeper knew exactly what he was doing and went, oh yeah, I did that, and told him in between overs. So yeah, that was bad. But hey, good thing that live streaming probably, and the improvement of quality means that we're going to cop those things more often. We obviously need some more controversies, I think, in the IPL.
Come on, it's the IPL. What are we doing? Yeah.
So that was just my take on that. But let's move on to Abhijato Sensama, who nominates, I think, for good. Is Rashid Khan the best spinner in the history of the IPL? He's more consistent than Narayan would offer and tougher to decipher as well. Did you see that? There was some great analysis floating around on Twitter showing the way he splits his fingers for some deliveries and not for the others. The way he holds the ball and positions his fingers around the seam for which type of delivery he's bowling. But the fact he sometimes changes as he's in his delivery stride, that's brilliant. I mean, he's so smart, isn't he? He's one of the cleverest bowlers, and I love watching him. He was brilliant in the Big Bash as well, with one of the most entertaining batting innings, I reckon, of the entire BBL. So, yeah, for me, he has just been a revelation, and the way he's able to control, not just offer different variations, but control them as well, and his ability to disguise them and fool the batters time and time again, it's pretty hard to think of anyone better, really.
Yeah, and I think if you are watching this, you have to go find that analysis. I think it's done by @flighted leggy. I think that's if I might be getting the handle slightly wrong, but it is @flighted leggy with an hyphen or underscore, one of those. But it is amazing. I mean, everybody around the world was talking about it, because Rashid Khan, and the other name mentioned is Sunil Narayan. Where Rashid Khan has gone, left Sunil Narayan in his wake, is the fact that he's constantly adapting. He's constantly working on his game, and he's making sure that he doesn't get figured out. Sunil Narayan, of course, had issues with his bowling action, so that didn't help. But Rashid Khan's been bowling with a clean action, and he keeps getting better and better. And that's what you have to do as a mystery spinner, right? It is, you always want the batsman playing catch up, and it's almost like our good friend Bryden Coverdale and the chase, and it is really the chase, cricket's version of the chase, if you are a mystery spinner. So you always have to be a step or a few steps ahead, and which is what Rashid Khan is able to do. Because how do you read a spinner? You're always looking at his fingers at the point of release, or just trying to figure out what he's doing with his grip. If you have the ability to change it while you're running in, or as late as possible or as soon as possible, you are playing mind games with the batsman, especially in T20 cricket, where there's no time and the batsmen are always coming after you. But we've seen Rashid Khan take a lot of wickets in Test cricket as well these days. So he's just a genius bowler, and I don't know whether he's the best spinner in the history of the IPL, but maybe the best overseas spinner in the history of the IPL. Though Imran Tahir still, for now, just in terms of wicket taking, is running him close.
Yeah, that's a good shout as well. We will see. I do see one from Warren Lewis, a comment saying, ridiculous, bowlers still struggling to bowl a decent Yorker. We did see a couple over the weekend, but Yorkers feel like they're so yesterday, doesn't it? And it's still such an effective ball generally, especially it's still really hard to be able to smash it for six, unless you're, I guess, moving around and using the crease and trying to take line and length out of it. But it does feel like it's sort of, it's a little bit passé. Now that we have all the different kinds, there's different trends, slower ball bounces were the new things, and then it's like bowling wide of off stump. So while people sort of go back to the whole bowl Yorkers at the death, yes, but there are also, the game's sort of moved as well. So I think Yorkers need to be one of several different, weapons that you have there at the death.
Yeah, I mean, Yorkers are like men growing their hair, having a mane. They're always cool, but not everybody can pull them off. They were cool in the 60s, they were cool in the 70s, they've always stayed cool, but fewer men started going for that option because fewer men could pull it off. So there you go. Yeah, there are so many other haircuts going around these days. You can go and try them out. But if you think you can own it, you can bowl a Yorker and you can bowl your hair.
And Rajiv Vikas points out, Warren, did you see Jai Richardson's slower ball Yorker? That was an absolute peach and was successful as well. So that was really nice to see see him there. Now, one from Shobhit, 919. Good. Younger siblings are better than elder ones. And ridiculous the way Shikhar and Prithvi played with Chennai bowlers. We'll talk about Prithvi because I have another nomination, but younger siblings better than the elder ones. Actually, I think Tim Wigmore did a piece, I wrote a piece on this recently about how often younger siblings do perform better. Maybe the idea of the way they grew up playing and their extra competition having to play up with the older brother. But we did see a bit of that, didn't we?
Yeah. I think I'm sure somewhere deep inside, both of us were celebrating that over, like when Sam Curran faced Tom Curran and hit him for 2 sixes and a 4 as well. Because let's face it, we are generally more talented, and by we I mean the younger siblings. More talented, we're more chilled, and it was fascinating. Like I had my baby nieces visit just last week. They left yesterday, and just seeing how they were as well. They were 7 and 5, and you could see the younger ones almost like, it's so much more different. I think at times it's easier being the second sibling or the younger sibling, Mel. I guess you would agree. It's almost like the parents are like invested so much energy and time in that first child that you get away with a lot of things, and you can kind of like, show them up in many ways. Like you tend to be easier, right? And Sam Curran definitely is an easier cricketer on the eye as compared to Tom Curran. And Tom Curran started looking more like Dale Steyn than a Curran these days. So I guess maybe Sam was just like, beating that into him as well.
Yeah, I did notice we did touch on catches, and Aryan Garg has just commented the bad Punjab fielders dropping catches and the great Jonty kind of tearing his hair out. I did see him there. And he's still got a full head of hair, so there's plenty to pull out. But yeah, that would have to be up there as one of the bad things. Although we'll see what your winners are, and we'll see if that sort of fits in with what I think was one of the bad things in a catch that was taken. Anyway, the time has come. Drum roll. Bharat Sundaresan. What is the goodest thing we've seen in the IPL so far?
I am so glad that RCB have won that first game. I know it went to the last ball, but I'm so glad they won it. Not because I'm an RCB fan or it matters, but at least that means that we don't have Twitter exploding. Like there'll be one section saying, RCB are shit, and like they can go nowhere from here. Or the other section going, no, RCB moaning about why they lost and why this could be the season. Let them keep winning. And, it was a good game, a good opener. Rohit was smart. And all that. But yeah, for me, the goodest thing, RCB has won.
Closet RCB fan, everyone. Remember, you heard it here first. Bharat, what was the baddest thing for the day? No, for the day.
For the week, yeah. Thankfully, we didn't see it on the field, but some of those dancing videos, Mel, and I will be the first to admit, I am hopeless when it comes to dancing. If I go to a party and if I see, especially one of those house parties when people start getting up from their seats that part of the night when they're dancing, I start like, like my nails grow longer. I'm like, making sure nobody pulls me onto the dance floor. I'm hopeless. But after having seen Steve Smith on camera publicly showing off his moves, if he wants to call them, I think I have grown in confidence now. I think maybe I have better moves. And maybe if he can do that, I'm sure I'm not that bad. But it's been pretty hopeless. Like you said, Chris Wokes was really good. Ashwin pulled off some of his famous Tamil moves of his, but sorry, Stephen Smith, you need to really work on your game. I know you're focusing a lot of your time on playing the guitar. Maybe stick to that.
It's amazing that he can play guitar when he clearly has no rhythm, and it's amazing that we've seen that someone who has quite an ugly batting style. It turns out that that's not the ugliest style he has about him. Sorry, Steve Smith. But yeah, that was really bad. But it's a great thing, isn't it? It's a great level to think that everyone out there can look at him and go, yep, great batter, earns lots of money, everything else. But yeah, rubbish on the dance floor. I was actually going to go for, although that probably wins it, that amazing caught and bowled by Shami, because to see 3 fielders coming in like that, and actually both touching the ball right like 1 meter in front of the batter, that for me was just so bad, because I wish it had dropped it at that point. then that would have become possibly the funniest thing, one of the things I've ever seen in the IPL. We were robbed in the end. It was pretty funny as it was, but yeah, a little bit disappointed there. And Bharat Sundaresan, what is your ridiculousest thing of the IPL so far?
I mean, I'll have to take a serious tone for this, Mel, because I think the fact that we are having an IPL season, I know crowds aren't allowed. I know the media isn't allowed either. But the fact that we're playing an IPL season when the coronavirus is hitting India like never before, 165,000 cases yesterday I heard, which is almost double of what it was at its worst peak last year, is kind of ridiculous, not in a good or a bad way, but a ridiculous in a ridiculous way, because I don't know how long they can sustain it, because so far we've seen teams still 2 teams each in different cities. But soon they're going to start traveling. There are going to be other cities that will be put into use. And then what happens then? We've already seen some of the players and some of the support staff testing positive. So as great as it is, as much fun as we are having talking about and watching the IPL, it is pretty ridiculous that we are having an IPL during this time. I know it brings a lot of joy to a lot of people, but yeah, you can look at it in many ways. Yeah, I don't know. That for me, it just still is the most ridiculous thing.
Yeah, and just so if anyone watching in India, believe you me, it is on the top of all the news bulletins here in Australia. We're seeing all of these. It's a really big story here in Australia. So we hope very much that you're all keeping safe out there and sanitizing, social distancing, doing all the right things, because, heart really goes out to you. We're very lucky to be safe. Remember that analogy I used all summer about the whole, the tours at the moment being like a house of cards sitting on a bowl of jelly, and then you try and pick it up and move it. Well, they're about to try and pick it up and move it again now to other cities, and that does frighten me a bit. So yeah, a bit of a serious note to finish on, but while it's on, we've got to just enjoy while we can.
Maybe we should end it on a good note. I think Aryan Garg has a good one. It could have not. I could have picked it as good, because it's great to see youngsters like Arshdeep and Chetan Sakaria do well with the ball. Arshdeep Singh, I remember sitting at CCI a few years ago. Rahul Dravid was the under-19 coach, and he came and spent some time with us in the press box. There wasn't too many people there. It was the under-19 challengers, so like a domestic tournament. And he saw Arshdeep from where we were in that vantage point. He'd never seen him before. This was a month before the World Cup. He was so impressed by him. He went and spoke to him about, why have I not seen you before? And from there, he was picked for the World Cup, under-19 World Cup squad, and he's been sensational ever since he got his chance in the IPL. So that's a great sign, and that is the beauty of the IPL. While we did speak about how ridiculous it is that it's happening, at least it gives chances to these kind of youngsters to win the world. So that's great. That's a good thing.
And one thing about those two players, I absolutely love their reactions to getting the wickets as well, because Sakaria leapt probably about 10.2 feet in the air, which was amazing. And then I just love with Arshdeep, the hands on the hips after, I've just done a ridiculous sort of reaction court mode. And I'm just going to put my hands on my hips. Yeah, I'm like this. That's it. Also, that was. Hey, I've got more rhythm than Steve Smith. Yes.
No comparison. No comparison.
We've got lots for you. That is good, bad, or ridiculous. We will be back next week on Monday. I'll make sure the Bharat's there. But we will also have a show. We'll also have an episode of Over and Out on Friday. Very special one coming up there as well. So please do subscribe. Hit the reminder bell. Thank you so much for you guys for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. And we will see you very soon.